Hello, good people and wonderful people. Welcome to my channel. I'm Grace Njoki. I love calling myself Neema Grace because this far I have come, it's by the grace of God. And looking at myself, I see the grace of God. So welcome back to my channel. Like I said in the previous video, this is a very new channel, a very new channel. So far, we don't even have a single subscriber, but I am not worried about that. My main desire is to make an impact in my life. So according to the title of this video, as you have seen, is how to pass KCPE English. And the reason as to why I came up with this video is because most candidates right now are at home for a few days, and probably they are looking for ways, or as a parent or as a guardian or as an uncle or as an aunt, you're looking for ways on how your child can pass very well in English grammar. But the reason as to why I have specialized in this, or I've decided to do this particular one, it is because I am a teacher by profession, a primary school teacher, and I teach English mostly. I love English so much. I also teach CRE. I also teach social studies. So I think those are my strengths, but I love English very much. And I like it when I help a child to perform very well in English. So according to the title of this video, as you have seen, that how to pass English in KCPE. Now, as I interact with my learners, sorry, something came up. Yeah, so as I was saying, as I interact with my learners, I like guiding them on how well they can perform in English. English is one of the subjects that is usually done very well in KCPE. That is if the learners are well prepared. That is if the learners are well prepared. So as a teacher, I love giving my very best to my learners such that they perform to their best in that particular language. English is, I might not be able to give everything. I might not be able to teach the entire syllabus of English. So in this video, what I'm just doing is guiding the learners, because I want to believe that they have been taught by their various teachers on how to pass English. So probably you will hear something new that you did not hear probably from your teacher or from instructor. So there are so many things that one needs to look at in English before you think of performing well in that particular subject. You have to have equipped yourself thoroughly on all the areas before you go to sit for KCPE. So if you're a parent out there and your child, you can show your child this video and they can pass very well in English. You can be assured of that. You can also share this video because it could be of help to another child who is at home and probably they don't know how what to do to perform well in English. Like I said earlier, English is a subject that you can pass comfortably as long as you are very okay in the 4 skills in English. That is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If you're okay in that. You know, there are sometimes we have students that are very weak and they are still our children, and we appreciate them the way they are, because most of them, it's not usually their fault. There are those students who even at class 8 are not good at reading. Others are very good at reading and they are not good at comprehending. So that's why you find most students failing, because of these factors. You find a child knows very well how to read, but they don't know how to comprehend. So this one will help a child who is very good in these areas, is very good at listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So this is a child who only needs to be guided on how to perform in this particular subject, that is English. So to start with, English has 2 papers English grammar and English composition, English grammar and English compositions. So to the learners out there, I keep telling my learners that when you're doing English, whenever you're writing a composition, we don't usually have English for composition and English for grammar. You know, sometimes students get too confused. I don't know why, but the grammar they learn, they forget that that is the same grammar that they need to apply when writing a good composition. The sentence structures they have been taught, the language patterns they have been taught, the vocabulary they have been taught. That is what they're supposed to apply when they're writing a composition. So these two goes hand in hand, English grammar, English composition. So English as a language and as an examinable paper in KCPE, number one, I've said that the English paper has two areas that you have to do English grammar and you also have to do English composition. So in the first paper, that is English grammar, we usually have the part where there's a broken passage where the learners are supposed to answer 15 questions. We also have another one from number 16 to 25. That is basically where they test the grammar part. And we also have two passages. One is fictional and the other one is functional. So when you have that at the back of your mind, that your grammar paper has the broken passage part, has the other one from 16 to 25. So the broken passage and the 16 to 25, so number 1 to 25, usually test basically about the skills you have learned in grammar. All the skills, whether they're question tags, all parts of speech are applied here. When I talk of the parts of speech, I want to believe you know them. I'm going to show them some of the parts of speech. So some of these parts of speech that you need to know for you to be able to pass very well in English. Actually, you cannot pass any English if you don't understand all the 8 parts of speech. I'm going to show them here, the 8 parts of speech. I've said I cannot be able to teach all these. So the number 1 up to 25, that is grammar, purely grammar of what you have learned. All these parts of speech, it entails so many things, language patterns, these question tags, conditional sentences, conjunctions, the different types of conjunctions, punctuations. I cannot be able to exhaust everything, but that is basically what you're going to be tested in this part of English. The number 1 up to 15, if you're a student, you need to be very, very careful with the broken passage. The broken passage is tested in so many areas. Again, it covers the wider scope of English. Again, it also entails those parts of speech. And I keep telling my student, one part of speech that you will never miss in the broken passage is the conjunctions. So you need to understand the different types of conjunctions to be able to understand about these parts of speech. We know there are conjunctions that give additional information, conjunctions that show cause, that shows reason, that shows contrast. We all know those. We find however, moreover, nevertheless, all those sentences, yeah? If you need a clarification, kindly feel free to ask. If you're a student, I'll leave my email here. I'll show my email here. If you have any question that you need, probably I'll skip. You can ask me through my email. I'm always willing to help any learner. So if you can test me, you can just ask me a question that you need probably to be answered for you to pass well in English, where you feel that you have an issue. Kindly feel free to ask. So that broken passage, again, it looks at the tenses used. If you really don't understand the tense of that passage, you will have a problem. So it tests on so many things: tenses, vocabulary, punctuation. So it's good that you also learn how to answer all those questions in that broken passage. Have yourself equipped thoroughly in every area of English that can be tested in that part. So the number one thing to do, I don't want to go into the details, but I want to believe that your teachers have guided you on how to answer these questions. For instance, I guide my learners. The first step to do is read the broken passage without without answering, without putting any answer, just reading it through. Read again the second time again. Now trying to put the answers, not the ones that are there now. You find yourself, you're answering that broken passage without having to check the answers that are there. Now the third time is now when you try to put in the answers, as you're following the rules, whether you check whether it's the broken passage, what tenses are being used there. Tenses is paramount. Tense is paramount in that broken passage, because if you miss out and use the tenses wrongly, oh my friend, you're not likely to do very well in English. So check on that as well. So that is the third time. Now the fourth time after you have answered your questions. That is why you have 1 hour, 40 minutes to answer English questions. So that broken passage, you give it your time. So the fourth time now, read the passage now, the broken passage now, together with the answers that you have gotten. Because if you read it, now you will realize, you'll even, if you're keen, you'll even learn that this answer I've put, it is not actually correct. So that is how you answer the broken passage. But if you have more questions, kindly consider asking. Like I said, I'm gonna leave my email here for any inquiries. If you're a student at home and you come across this video, kindly feel free to ask any question in English. Feel free to ask. The other thing, now we go to question 16 to 25. Again, it tests basically everything about grammar that you need to learn. All the parts of speech. I have said the conditional sentence, the question tags, correlatives. I'm just trying to remember most of the things that are usually asked here. Antonyms, synonyms, all these. So basically everything that is here. That is basically it. So that is how you answer questions on that part. So you are good. You must have equipped yourself in that area. And I'm sure as you're a student and you have been taught by your teacher, you're capable of doing excellently well. Again, if you have a question on this part as well, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. Now, the other part, very important, is the passages, the two passages. And I say the passages involves the fictional story and a functional story. The fictional stories entails a story, like you have a moral lesson to learn from it, but it's not actually a true story, because like they give a story of a hare and hyena where they were conversing, right? But we all know that animals don't converse, so it's just fictional. You just think about it that hare and or animals do talk, which is not true, but it usually has a moral lesson. That's a fictional story. So the first story most of the times is going to be a fictional story. That is question 26 to 38. So it's usually a fictional story. So passages question. So before I say how to answer questions from the passage, the other one is passage 2, which is a functional story. A functional story entails things that are happening right now. They can bring a story about HIV and AIDS. They can bring a story about corona. They can bring about forestry. They can, like now we are talking about corruption. We are talking about politics. We are talking about, so basically about things that are happening. So they're functional. There are things that are real. It could talk about a disease. So basically it talks about things that are real and things that are happening in our society. And actually I do love this part, because it is something that something that you can relate with. It is something that you can relate with. So we have these two passages, that is the functional one and the fictional one. The mode of answering questions from this passage is very simple. It's very simple. One thing we are not usually very sure of how KCPE is being marked, but I usually feel like the passages usually carry a lot of marks. I'm not very sure. I cannot really attest to that, but I feel like the passages do carry a lot of marks. So it is very important, if you're a student out there, you're preparing yourself for KCPE, to be very, very serious when answering questions on the passages. Sometimes you just read the passages and answer. Some even start answering without reading. They don't even know what is in the passage, and they're going straight to the answers, and then they start reading. No. So if you want to do very well in English, ensure that you don't skip passages or read them haphazardly, like you don't care. Kindly pay attention. Pay attention to these passages. Read them. The first time you read again, the first time you read it. Probably you are not even able to comprehend. Remember I said, there's those students who are very good at reading but not good at comprehending, and that's why you find they are not able to answer questions from the passage. But if you're blessed, you have a good brain, you're able to comprehend a story, be grateful. Don't take that for granted, because I've told you there are those learners, and it's not their fault that they know how to read but they don't know how to comprehend. Comprehension is that they understand the story, they're able to relate and answer questions from the story. So if you're a student out there and you know how to read and comprehend, kindly don't lose these marks of answering questions in English comprehension questions. Nasikia hata zinaitwa comprehension. Sorry, I spoke Swahili there. You've read the first time, so it is the same one, the past passage and the second one. You read the first time that passage, okay? Are we clear on that? You read the first time that passage. Have you understood? Yes or no? You know. You read it again the second time. You're good. I think now the story is now sinking into your brain, into your mind. Now the third time you have read it, now that is when you try to answer questions from the passage. And I would advise that when you're answering questions from the passage, it is important that you every answer you note where, because every question that you have from the passage, the answer is in the passage. So it is good if it's question number 26, which I got this answer from this particular place. Underline that part, show that part where you got your answer. It is very simple. And another key thing to do when you're answering questions from the passage, you can be assured that from downwards, from question number 26, definitely you'll find the answer in paragraph 1. So as the story progresses, that is how you get your answers, 27, 28, 29, like that. So you cannot get an answer for question 26 in the last paragraph. So when you're getting that answer, you need to, question 26, you check it in the first paragraph. That is actually the first line. Most of the times, it's usually the first line or the first sentence. You get your answer. So mark every question number 34. This is where you got the answer from the passage. Be very keen on that. Another question that students fail on this part is where you're asked the title of the passage. When you're asked about to answer a question about the title, don't just pick something that was mentioned, just like something like a passing cloud, like something like that. It's good that you be very keen on how do I put it? On everything that is mentioned in the passage, everything that is mentioned in the passage. For you to get the title, the most mentioned thing is what you put as the title. Right from the first paragraph to the last paragraph, that idea that is being mentioned right from the first paragraph to the last one is what you need to put as your title of the passage. Not something that is being discussed probably in one paragraph or in one sentence or in 2 paragraphs. You just get the most conspicuous idea right from the beginning to the end of that passage. That way you will not lose that mark of the best title of the passage, because you find when you're asked about the title, most of the ideas are, when you're given the ideas and you get confused, are usually in the passage. So you go for the most mentioned idea from the beginning of the passage to the other one. I'm finding that this video is kind of long, so I don't know whether I'll get time to watch the composition part of it, but I'll speak it in part 2. I'll speak about composition in part 2 because I need to go deeper about composition writing, because for you to get a straight A in English, you have to also do very well in composition writing. So part 2 of this video, I'm going to talk about about composition writing. So do not miss out part 2 if you are a student who is looking forward to answering questions very well in KCPE. So thank you for watching this video. If you have found the video helpful, kindly consider sharing the video, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing. See you in the part 2 of this video.